Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another live edition of the Highbury Squad. The main man is back too, and we have some awards to give out. Awards, you ask? Who deserves an award? Well, some players actually do. Good evening to everyone in live chat, and of course to my podcast brother from another mother, Mr. Super Kevin Campbell.
Oh!
Kev, did you used to like the season end awards? I'm sure you won a fair few in your career. Was it a big deal for players?
Big deal. I suppose it is. I mean, listen, if the team isn't successful, individual accolades are nice, but you want it to be team success because you train and you play and you're together all season. And when you're at Arsenal, it's all about the team. So, individual awards are nice, but, no, you want it to be team success.
Just before I ask you a follow-up on that, I have to put Mark's comment up. Good evening, squaddies. It should be a short show tonight if it's an award show for the players. You cheeky bugger, Mark. I love it. But, like Ronaldo, I think in your time, especially coming through Arsenal, it was always about the team. And then when you were at Everton, you were like another leader there, captain. Now it feels like, it's so funny. Ronaldo didn't win Serie A, but he did this whole Instagram post to highlight all of, his incredible. So it feels like the modern day player, although they're always about the team, Kev, it does feel like they're more into the individual accolades as well. Am I being harsh?
No, you're not being harsh. I think when you have the amount of fans that Ronaldo has, you've got to keep feeding them. And, a lot of the people follow him as an individual. Whereas back in the day, everything was team. Now, the likes of himself and Lionel Messi and, they got more followers than countries have people.
Crazy, man.
They got more than some clubs. You could put clubs together and they've still got more followers. So you tend to find fans follow these players around, and you've got to keep feeding that beast. You've got to keep it going.
All right. So speaking of feeding the beast, I'm going to get my list up, and I'm pretty sure you've got yours. I sent it to myself. Look, I was so efficient, Kev, that now I can't find it. You see, so now I'm just too efficient for my own good. What do you? Let's start with the first one I sent you on the list, right? So we've got. Should we start with Player of the Year?
Why not?
Why not?
Simple one.
Who's your Player of the Year?
Easiest of the lot.
Who's that for you?
Saka, Bukayo Saka.
Why?
Because at 19 years old, he's been the most consistent player in the team all season. At 19 years old, he's carried Arsenal on his shoulders, or should I say, in his backpack. He's carried Arsenal in his backpack. He's been incredible. For me, someone so young should be getting a lot more support, and he has. That first half of the season, especially, he was the only one really who was playing anywhere near or above what we know he can be. And he got some support in the second half, which is great. But Player of the Year is the whole season. And yeah, there was times where Saka fell off a little bit because he's only 19. But when you add up what's gone on, he's been absolutely brilliant.
Okay, so you might be a bit shocked by this. And you know me, I can never pick one. I have to have a backup.
But hold on.
It's like Miss World.
Is it Players of the Year or Player of the Year?
It's Player
I just want to know. Go on then. Who's your players? Go on.
Okay,
Go on.
So when I was going through and I was looking at the benefits of what certain players have done in various competitions, right? So in the Premier League, there's no doubt Saka was the main man. He faded towards the end of the season. That fatigue really kicked in. He's played a lot. Also, to be fair to all the players, it was a short season, bearing in mind what had happened with COVID and everything. So it was a little bit difficult. And no, I'm not going to say Xhaka. Don't panic. They're all thinking I'm going to say Xhaka. But when I know you're going to. No, I'm not. But when I look at the Premier League and then I look at our Europa League campaign, I can't help but think we did have two best players this season. Saka is definitely one. And for me, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I ate some humble pie the other night, but it's Pepe. When you look at what he's done, what he contributed in the Europa League, how he kind of put the team on his shoulders a little bit towards the end of the season when he was given his chance in the Premier League, Kev, I think the great thing about him is you're finally seeing his talent, but you're excited. And there's not a lot to be excited about, but there is something to be excited about in terms of what he could potentially do next season. And on Thursday, we're going to do a new show. There's a new theme. We've got a brand new series coming out called Making the Case. And our good friend James Johnston is going to come on and he's going to do a whole thing about making the case for Pepe. And, I had him on the Mount Rushmore of biggest Arsenal busts potentially ever, unless he had improved. And I'm never afraid to say I got it wrong or I underestimated him. But I also think he deserved the critics. Do you think it's an exaggeration to have him in the mix as Player of the Year?
Yeah, I do. And here's the reason why.
Okay, tell me.
The group stage of the Europa is weak. We were playing second string players, and yeah, he done well, which is fine. But when it really matters, as our most expensive signing, he should be playing in the first team, and he wasn't. So, yes, I agree. He did do good things in the Europa. And I agree with you. Second half of the season, he turned up. But Player of the Year is across all of the games, start to finish. And I just think Saka's body of work was more solid and more consistent than Pepe's. Although Pepe makes a case, as you said, for next season, whatever, 100%. 100%.
Richard, that's not fair. I did call him a lemon. He's not been a lemon this season. And wait till you see what James has in store on Thursday, Richard. I hope you can make the show, because I think what people, Kev, can you help me understand this? Because you too, you've had the burden of the world on your shoulders. You now have sons who are playing, who are really hot prospects. And with that comes a lot of stress. And Pepe didn't decide that he was worth 72 million. Raul decided that, and the market decided that. And so he's come with being, and it's surprising really, because obviously football moves on, there's an evolution. But now in modern day football, and this signing at this time, Pepe's the most expensive. And I think that comes with a price for modern day players. I just don't think some of them can handle it. And now I think he's found a way around it.
I think when a player comes to a club like Arsenal, again, it's not only the price tag, it's the badge. And you are getting the best of everybody. Everybody wants to take Arsenal's scalp, especially when Arsenal are struggling. So Pepe came into a dressing room, which weren't great. There was ups and downs in the dressing room. There was a power struggle going on in there. And let's be honest, and let's be brutal. The club haven't been on the right footing for a number of years. Now, when you make big signings, you hope that the big signing comes in and hits the ground running. But unfortunately, he didn't hit the ground running. We weren't in a great position. But you remember in the FA Cup run, Pepe kind of showed his mettle. He really showed up, and he was excellent. He was exciting, and we moved him from wide to just in behind, and he tortured Chelsea in the final. At times, set up the winner for Aubameyang, and we were happy.
Yeah,
but it didn't quite work. It didn't quite start off like that this season, did it? It was a bit more difficult for him.
Yeah, exactly. Newman, we're not selling Pepe. We're going to build a team around him next season, maybe. I don't know if Arteta believes in him now, but I think what a lot of people are saying in chat, Kev, is that maybe he would have had an even greater season had Arteta had a little bit of faith with him, more so than Willian early on.
Well,
am I ever going to wrangle you into agreeing with me on that one?
No, you're not, because let's have it right. There were times when Pepe played.
Yeah, he was poor.
People carry on like he never actually played. He did play, but he wasn't at the races until he got it in his head that I'm going to do the extra on the training pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Once he got that in his head, everything started to change. Things started to click for him. He started to score goals. Started to look a lot more dangerous. He could be that guy in the Europa, but he wasn't that guy in the Premier League, if you understand what I mean, Sophie.
Yeah. No, that's a fair statement. That's fair.
He could do it in the Europa because there's lesser opposition.
Yeah.
But in the Premier League, he wasn't quite at that level. And then all of a sudden, he put the extra work in. All of a sudden, he starts getting luckier. He starts getting smarter. He starts understanding the game a lot better. And now, I mean, when you look at him, we don't want the season to finish. He was on a run of form that you just hope and pray he can continue at the start of next season.
Yeah, and I'm putting a lot of comments up here because I kind of agree with what some fans are saying, in the sense that even though he played poorly, he wasn't given the opportunity to start over and over, whereas Willian played poorly and was always given the opportunity to start over and over. And I think that red card moment was a big moment for Pepe this season, in terms of him being humbled. Maybe he and Arteta had a meeting of the minds, but there was definitely a time where Arteta, and maybe it was part of the fact that we had bought him from Chelsea and we were trying to fit Willian in and make him work, Kev, to the detriment of the team. Right.
It's experience as well. So it's experience as well, because the way Pepe is now, Willian wouldn't have got a kick earlier on. But Pepe's level wasn't, let's be honest, if Pepe's level was where it is now at the start of the season, Pepe would have started, but his level wasn't.
Yeah. But I guess my point is Willian's level was never, ever, and he still got picked. I think that's the difference.
Yeah, but here's the thing. What managers tend to do is go with the tried and tested. You go with people who you trust. And at the end of the day, it never worked out for Willian. The season never worked out for Aubameyang. It never worked out for Xhaka was awful in the first half of the season. So again, the players who you trust and rely on, it never quite worked out for them.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to, let's see what's next on our list. We have most valuable player. Who is your most valuable player? Get ready, squaddies, and everyone in chat who's joining us. Hello to all 200 of you joining us live this fine Tuesday evening. Super Kev, curious to know who your most valuable player is. My most valuable player,
look, I could go Saka easy and say he's the most valuable player, but he's already the player of the year. But I'm going to go with Lacazette, because without him, we don't get the best out of these youngsters.
Interesting.
We do not get the best out of them. Lacazette proved that with these youngsters, we have a future. We have a future. ESR, easy to play with. Saka, easy to play with. Martinelli, easy to play with. We've seen them struggle with other players, but Lacazette is the key. Back to goal, holding the ball up, a lot of the dirty work that many people don't value. definitely. Can't be ESR because he only played. ESR only started. Half a season max.
Yeah.
Nowhere near. And even some of the half of that season, sometimes he was on the bench, sometimes he didn't play because he's had a couple of injuries and niggles, etc. So ESR's been spectacular, but not MVP kind of thing.
Yeah. My breakdown of how to evaluate the most valuable player is what you miss when they're gone. It's kind of like in life, right? You don't know what you've got till it's gone. And this is always so true. And I think the one player that we really have missed because we haven't been able to plug a hole into that space other than taking another great player out of where he should be playing to plug him in, then that's Kieran Tierney. I think Kieran Tierney has shown himself as a leader on the pitch, Kev. His drive and his leadership in that Benfica game for that comeback, and we had a couple of major comebacks, didn't we, in the Europa League? For me, Kieran Tierney was the most valuable this year because of all the players who were injured. He was the one that we missed the most when we were gone. I would even argue and say this, Kev. Tell me if you agree or not. If Kieran Tierney is fit, we make it to the Europa League final. I have no doubt in my mind, if he's playing in those two legs against Villarreal and Xhaka's playing in his natural position alongside Partey, I say we make it to the Europa League final.
Possibly, yeah. You're possibly right. But here's the question. If Lacazette plays, do we make it?
I actually, you know how I feel about Lacazette. It was a tough choice because in a time where Aubameyang failed miserably, where he wasn't a leader, where he didn't show up, we were lacking him being like, you know, the dragon, you know, that he's been over the last two seasons prior. Lacazette showed up, and I totally agree with you that he was like the conduit between the younger players and showing kind of that leadership. And you said early on in the season, we're a much better team this season when Lacazzette's playing in that number 9 role. And there's going to be evidence of that as we go further into our awards and stuff in terms of some of the other categories. So I completely concur. But I think that Kieran Tierney trumps him just a little bit because Arteta's kind of been a victim of his own mind and his supposed genius when he's tried to play the false 9 role and, you know, tinker up front and stuff like that. He could have kept it simple and put Saka in that left back position for the Europa League semi-finals instead of Xhaka. That's where I feel like we lost the tie.
Yeah, but
not because of Xhaka, not blaming Xhaka.
So can I ask a question then?
Yeah.
But the season isn't 1 or 2 games. The season's the season. So if he's going to be most valuable player
in the Premier League, we missed him too, right? When he got injured.
He played a lot of games too. When we weren't good.
Well, he did, but at the same time, I think that he's the kind of player that always shines in a bad team. Look, if you go back and look at the play ratings for Kieran Tierney, he rarely had a below 5, even when the team was poor. So, you know, I love that we have difference of opinion here on you know, our most valuable player. And I agree with you that Laka was very important. But in my opinion, Kieran Tierney trumps him.
Because it's opinions. I just asked the question because I know, obviously.
It's a good question.
Because there was times, and I know earlier on in the season, do you remember against Liverpool, Lacazette had opportunities to bury Liverpool and he didn't take it. Do you know, there were times where, I think it was against Burnley, where there were opportunities just grazing his head or just grazing his boot, and he really should have buried Burnley. And we end up losing the game from an own goal from Aubameyang. I understand it happens. That's the striker's lot. But a lot of the time where we were losing at home and we weren't playing well, Kieran Tierney played. So that's my point, you know. But your opinion is different to mine, which is what it's all about.
I love that. All right, Kev, we go to the next one here, and we have the most improved player of the season. Everyone get ready for this. The most improved player of the season. Who is yours?
Most improved player for me is Kieran Tierney. Because last season, we know he's good. We know he's good. But we saw more of him this season. We saw more of him. And I thought, well, he's actually making that left side so much better. So much better.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to say Kieran Tierney was outstanding. And is the most improved player for me.
We're getting quite a few. We've got a lot of ESR here. We've got Xhaka, we've got Pepe's, we've got Callum Chambers from Mark, who definitely came in and did a good job when he was asked in a time of injuries and some struggles and stuff like that. I have 3.
Oh, jeez. Well, you're going to have to pick one of the 3 in the end.
Okay. Here's my 3. It's Pepe, it's ESR, and this is where the chat might fall apart. It's Xhaka. Okay.
I'm off.
You know, wait. You
I'm
know the same way people kind of say, I stood by Pepe the whole time, I was supporting him the whole time. Well, I've stood by Xhaka the whole time, and I've really been a champion for him. And when he got injured, we missed him. I mean, and he
hold on, but he played the first part of the season where we were awful. That first part of the season when we were awful, who was in the middle of the pitch?
Yes, but he improved greatly as the season went on. And if we're gonna give credit to players like Saka wins, but he was great in the first half of the season, but he faded in the second half of the season.
No, I thought he was 3/4 of the season. Saka was by far our best player by a country mile. 3/4. Granit Xhaka up until halfway. We heard him all of a sudden start piping up. You remember after the Chelsea game, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
He started piping up after the Chelsea game, and we said on this pod, where has he been? Where has he been when we nearly lost 5 home games straight? He was in the middle of the pitch, getting sent off against Leeds. Stupid.
Yeah, but that was definitely Darren as well, the Burnley back pass. I get it. And I know I did say I'm not his agent, but don't be furious. Everyone's mad at me. I actually think that Xhaka was one of the better players this season. I think he improved as the season went on. I think we missed him. I think in the games where he was asked to play left back, he did great for the first 2. He never complains. He never moans. And he was at times even better than Thomas Partey in midfield. Kev.
Soph, I'm not saying he wasn't.
Yeah.
I am not saying he wasn't. I thought Granit Xhaka second half of the season played a lot better. 100% he did. But
people want you to brock the neck on me.
Hold on. I'll just be a little one. Just a little crack.
Remember, people, it's most improved. Okay. And I had 3. I had Pepe, Xhaka, and ESR. So Kev said I have to settle on one. I gave you my case.
I know you're going to settle on.
I'm going to settle on Pepe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes sense. 100%.
Yeah.
Because I could have gone. I anticipated where you're going to go.
Yeah.
So I thought I can't go the same way. I wanted to go somewhere different. Someone who knits the team together. And we saw a massive difference when the youngsters came in and they linked with Lacazette. I thought, we started to improve then.
Yeah. Well, look, all 200 plus of you in live chat, I just wanted to make sure you were awake for my Xhaka comment. Everyone's with you on this.
You woke him up.
Everyone's with you on this one.
Brock it, man.
Okay. This one might be easy. Let's go to most disappointing. Watch the chat light up consistently. You could just copy and paste it, like just like copy and paste it, and we'll go from there.
Let's flip this one. We know who that is going to be. We know that. Although,
wait, there's 2 because I had 2 to shoot at you.
Still got the most assists. right? He's still got the most assists.
Crazy.
But, disappointing was Oba. Williams got to take it because Oba was disappointing, but Williams got to take it. So
I agree. I had them both on my list. And when I was going through the stats and stuff and then looking at the games overall, I mean, Aubameyang had moments. He was poor by compared to the Aubameyang we know, Kev, he was poor. Yeah. But the fact that we invested so heavily in Willian, he came from a London rival, it's got to be him. I mean, he's been an absolute disaster. Complete disaster.
I agree with you.
Yeah. FIFA Boy is an interesting one. He's mentioned Bellerin. I think some people may have I don't know what people expect of Bellerin these days, Kev. I don't think we're expecting him to be a world beater anymore.
Yeah, I think people expect him to be a lot more solid. And he's an experienced player, Soph. He's an experienced player. And they expect a lot more out of him. Really, because you wouldn't even put Callum Chambers in his stratosphere before. But now Callum Chambers is ahead of him.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You know what I mean?
Ahead of him.
It's how far has he dropped? So I think it's time for him to
move on. Yeah. And I think he probably agrees with that too. Someone mentioned, I'm sorry, I lost who it was. Someone mentioned Leno. Oh, Stevenage Guna, Leno. He's not had a great season, but I don't think he's been the most disappointing by any stretch of the imagination.
No, William takes that one.
Yeah, totally. All right. So next we go to the biggest prospect.
FIFA. I like Bellerin as a person, though.
We all do.
Get him out of the club, but you're a nice fella.
We're going to pay you 120 grand a week because you're a nice fella.
Nice
Thank
fella,
you.
No. What you do on that pitch, mate, I tell you.
Too funny. Okay, the biggest prospect for next season. This one excited me because I was thinking look, as bad as this season has been, and if you saw the title of the show today, gang, it says the end of season award show. This is the last time we're going to talk about last season. We're going to move
until
on.
Tomorrow.
Kevin says tomorrow.
Oh, geez, no, we're always forward. We're always forward now.
Yeah, always forward. Kev, who's the biggest prospect for you next season? Who excites you the most?
Well, the prospect can't be. Is it prospect or is it the most exciting? It's because they're different things.
Do exciting, because I guess prospect would be someone like a Balogun or an Aziz who haven't really featured, and we don't know if they're going out on loan.
Prospect, as Lone Star Londoner says,
yeah,
Martinelli's still the prospect who you expect to get going. Obviously, he's shown it in flashes. He's fully fit now, isn't he? He's fully fit, which is brilliant. And we know he's hungry. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Will he start? Will he not? He's still only what? Still 19. He's 20 next year, I think, or end of this year. But I've got to say, to be the star, I've got to look no further than Pepe. Pepe's the one, because the way Pepe's career has gone at Arsenal hasn't been there. But now we're starting to see him gain some momentum. He's not fully there yet, Soph. But we need him to step up next season. So that's what my prospectus is. Pepe to do the business.
So can you consider or label a £72 million record club signing as a best prospect?
Yes, because 6 months ago he was on the busted club, one of the worst signings of the club 6 months ago. Now,
yeah, I had him on that list.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is now He's not fully there yet, but we're starting to see some consistency and we're starting to see him perform. So, is he there yet? No, he isn't.
Mm-hmm.
He's not there yet. Do we expect him to do better next season? You're damn right. He showed us he can do it.
Mm-hmm. I think to me, we talked about how we were arguing on a show I can't remember, it was a couple of weeks ago, that, our players like Martinelli are prospect and ESR, we've seen them and stuff like that. So for me, I'm kind of excited about the fact that I think we feel like Martinelli can be a superstar in this league. I think ESR could be as appealing on the eye as, I'm not saying he's Phil Foden, but ESR has all of the ingredients. If he can stay fit next season, my goodness, the sky is the limit for this kid. Saka will go on to another level, still only 20 years old. For me, I would love to see, in a time when we've struggled to score goals and financially we're strapped, I would love to see Balogun be given a chance in this team. I think that he's got that same bravado that ESR and Saka have, that fearlessness. The badge, I don't think, wears him down. But like you said, Kev, we haven't seen him play consistently in the Premier League to actually really know that.
Well, he's not played in the Premier League.
Right.
So not even consistently, he's not played.
Yeah. To me, he seems like an exciting prospect and one that I would love to see integrated into the team somehow and given an opportunity. So, Kev's showing off his wine collection.
But we've got a lot of quality youngsters coming through. Mm-hmm. But if you're saying the one player who the prospect for next season to be the best, it's got to be, for me, he's got to be Pepe. He's still young. And he hasn't hit the ground running at the football club. He's shown flashes, but we need more.
Yeah. You know what's really funny about Pepe? Is he 23, 4 now?
Yeah.
He seems like when you talk about ESR and Saka and Martinelli, you really feel like they're so young. And he's almost like he could be their Lacazette if he does mature a lot. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's got, look, his old club just won Ligue 1.
That's
one of his mentors, we talked about, some of his ex-players and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. There's an opportunity for him to really take ownership of, I'm not saying the dressing room, but I don't think the Arsenal Football Club are going to be building the team around Aubameyang next season, Kev. I just don't.
Well, you can't.
Yeah. So he's 25. He's 25. I mean, 25, he's going to be 26 next year. It is time. It is time. And I agree. Balogun unleashed. People admiring your wine collection, Kev. They want to know if the bottles are filled or empty. I'm thinking they're full, you guys. I'm just saying.
All empty.
Yeah, no spammers tonight, you guys. And Daniel, I agree with you. Cyprus were robbed. Elena Tangrino, what a song that was. El Diablo. Great song, Kev. Great song. Right. Next one is... what was your favourite goal? Best goal?
I think my favourite goal was the Pepe goal against Brighton. Second one.
The second one?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I really do. I liked Aubameyang's goal against Leeds. I like Pepe's goal against Wolves. But you know what? I'm going to go with Pepe against Brighton because the audacity of what he done and the way he put it through Dunk's legs into the corner. Mm-hmm. That was a man in full flow and confidence. And I love to see it because, you know what? I respect a lot of people who do put the work in behind the scenes and then you start to see it come to fruition. I respect that a lot. So I'm going to give that to Pepe.
All right, cool. I have a couple, but I'm going to, I think the best individual goal, because we've got best individual and team goal, right? Did I do that? I think so. I may.
Team
did I
goal
give you
was
that?
the last. Yeah,
okay, yeah. So the best individual goal for me is Tierney against West Brom. Mm-hmm. I love that goal. The way he comes in from the left, he actually goes a little deep and comes back as well. And then he hits it on his right foot. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was a great goal. Love that. Also, Kev, his goal against Benfica, where he got so angry, he was just like, literally, give me the goddamn ball. And he just took it and smashed it in the back of the net. That's what galvanized the comeback against Benfica. That was a really good goal. But the one against West Brom, I think, is my favorite individual goal. Pepe came close. He came close. Fair so what's your favorite team goal, Kev?
It was in that same match, actually. It was is it Saka goal?
Yep.
In that game where Smith Rowe's put it round the corner, a few 1-2s around the edge of the box, and we just sliced them open. And Smith Rowe unselfishly just squares it, and Saka finishes it. I thought that was an absolutely beautiful goal. Good team play, so unselfish, and what a team goal that was. That really cemented those youngsters playing with Lacazette as well.
Yeah. That was a really good goal, and I love the combo as well. This one, the goal against, I have that, the Lacazette goal against Sheffield United. It was a little bit vintage Arsenal, and there were multiple passes, and there's this interchangeable moment between Ceballos, and then he backheels it. And for all of Ceballos' faults, I'm pretty sure it's Ceballos that did the cheeky backheel.
Edge of the box, yeah.
That to me was just a really beautiful goal, and I loved that goal. And I know it was against Sheffield United and whatever, but still a really great goal, Kev. It just reminded us the kind of champagne football, that we miss. So that was my favorite. So yeah, and then also in that game, actually, do you remember Thomas Partey? That was the Rolls Royce moment you took.
That's the pass of the season.
Yes.
Now I know where you're going. That's the pass of the season.
Kev, it's the way he turned as well before he passed it. It was such a great dummy. The way it was one of those I embarrassed the opposing player move.
The opponent, he's got no chance.
Yeah, it was great.
And
really
the pass
good stuff.
Was just straight through to Lacazette.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
He finished it brilliantly. Yeah,
he did. It was great. Well, look, in a poor season, what we tried to do tonight was bring you some silver linings, and yes, MK Ceballos sent his farewell letter. Did you? he's out. He's off.
Did you read it? I didn't.
I didn't.
Sorry, I didn't.
I was like, sorry, don't let the door hit you on the way out, kind of thing. So I think that's all of them, right? We got goal player, valuable player, improved, disappointing, prospect, team goal, individual goal.
And pass.
That part. Listen, I can't wait for Thomas Partey to hit the ground running next season, Kevin. It could be special.
I can't wait for him to get a partner in there.
Now, have you heard that Brighton are reducing their fee on Basuma? Is this true? What are you hearing out there in the big bad world, Kev?
Listen, I'm hearing that he wants to come to Arsenal. That's what I'm hearing. So it's Arsenal got to make some moves and get him.
We're not going to screw that up, are we, Kev?
I don't know if you saw at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Him and Pepe were there and talking, and I think Pepe was just talking him through the Emirates. When you go through that door at the top,
it was.
You go down the side there. There's a bar there. Your family will be up in that box, and my box is beside it. Something like that. Something like that.
What was so epic was that it really looked like he was taking him on the stadium tour. It was so epic. It was so epic. Well, look. If who just wrote Brighton want Eddie, he could be part of the deal. We're more than happy to make those kinds of deals. We're
traders. We're traders.
We're traders. We're going to there's going to be so much time to talk about transfers. I know I say it on every show. I sound like a broken record, but there really is going to be plenty of time to talk about transfers. There's one more award that Newman wants to give out, Kev. Worst wig goes to Kevin Campbell.
Worst win. Newman, I think you should keep it shut or else I'll broke the neck, bro. What are you talking about?
That's style, man.
If you can't wear that wig when you win, when can you wear it, so?
You can't, ever.
You can't. You wear it when you win. You're successful.
The thing is, you would rock that going down the club anyway. Like, forget about winning.
I don't worry too much about Newman.
No, good stuff. Well, look, Kev, what else do you have for tonight? Anything? Was there anything else you wanted to get off your chest for tonight? Are you good?
No, listen, I'm good. You know why? Because Kev says is tomorrow.
It is,
and we're gonna chop it up. I think there might be a few. I'm gonna have to brock you up in here. The neck's gonna get Ruck Newman. I'm telling you.
Daniel, we're going to actually get into the England squad maybe a little bit next week. We're going to let the dust settle on this one. We've got some shows planned already for this week. We've got Kevin Says tomorrow. We've got Making the Case for Pepe on Thursday. And then on Friday, we've got a freestyle show. Kev won't be on Friday, but next week we'll definitely get into the England squad and we'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to be doing some Euro shows as well once the tournament kicks off on June 11.
Yeah, I think we only talk about the England squad when it's down to the 26.
Yeah, there's no point.
There's no point talking about it because,
Yeah.
Don't waste the time.
Yeah, we also have a front runner in the transfer market that I wanted to share with everyone tonight. A great prospect, great on the ball, can carry the ball well, and can bark orders without any problems. So, Kev, I'm going to show you Arsenal's number one transfer target for this season.
Well, I'll tell you what I would say. Good close control. Excellent in tight spaces. Could turn on a sixpence. And you know what? Bites in the tackle. Vespa. Little Vespa, I tell you what. Go on. Snap it up.
I'm telling you, amazing skills. Agree with all of you. Glad you guys enjoyed that. So thanks for indulging me just a little bit. I mean, seriously, that dog is a hellion, Kev, an absolute hellion. But I love your analysis, though. That was very good. That was very best in show. Love that. Geez. Love that.
Quality.
All right, cool. Well, look, we'll be back tomorrow for an epic edition of Kevin Says. Who cares about the Europa League final? We are not in it. We will be on air and we'll be flying high, right, Kev?
Yes, I will be watching it on the sly. And then once we finish, I have somewhere to go to watch the rest of it. So
okay.
In my local, because remember, I'm in Manchester. So I've got some mates who are big Man United fans, and I've got my seat. When you finish, make sure you come in there. They said you're going to sit here and watch us.
I love it. Well, maybe we can go a little bit earlier tomorrow. Let's we'll discuss and we'll let you squaddies know what we're doing about tomorrow's timing for the show. But get ready; it's going to be an absolutely epic episode of Kevin Says. So you won't want to miss that. In the meantime, Kev.
Hold on. Let me just say this. They want me to come in because they want to rub it in my face, right? If Villarreal ever win, I will clear the place quicker than you can say Highbury squad. I'm telling you.
I mean, are we all not living in the yellow submarine tomorrow?
I'm telling you, if they lose, if they get beat, I'm telling you, I will clear the place. I'm telling you that.
Clear the place.
I will clear the whole place.
Yes. And we showed you this last night. MK's in the chat tonight, but Pepe don't preach.
Yes.
We love this. We love this a lot. We're going to do something special with it. So thanks, MK, for that as well. Well, look, Kev, from your mouth to God's ears, if we're going to root for Unai Emery, tomorrow night is the night, people. Don't you forget it. Let the troops know, Kev.
Listen, everybody, get ready for Kev Says tomorrow because it should be a good one. And I might have to deal with you properly. Always Arsenal.